In this section, we continue validating arguments. For this argument here, notice that it is not written in symbolic form as we've done in previous examples. That's because this is known as a syllogistic argument. I'm just going to write it up here. And syllogistic arguments contain quantifiers. If you recall from earlier sections, we discussed two types of quantifiers. We discussed universal quantifiers. That's where the compound statements contain terms such as all or none of that nature. And then we also discussed existential quantifiers. And they contain terms such as some, most, at least one, of that nature. So you can see there's a quantifier in this first premise here. It just happens to be a universal quantifier in this premise here. So when arguments contain quantifiers, we cannot determine the validity of an argument using truth tables because we cannot express the compound statements using letters. So we utilize a series of circles known as Euler diagrams. That's right up here, and that's how it's pronounced. It's pronounced as Euler. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put together the series of circles that are going to represent this argument to help us confirm its validity. So for the first premise here, all cowboys drink coffee, it's made up of two entities. We have cowboys and we have coffee drinkers. So I'm going to represent the cowboys. I'm just going to use a small circle. I'm just going to label it as cowboys. And then I'm going to do the coffee drinkers here. So here's our coffee drinkers. Since all cowboys drink coffee, according to the first premise, then the cowboy circle must sit inside the coffee drinkers circle. So I'm just going to label this here. So visually, we can see that this graphic represents the first premise. All the cowboys are the coffee drinkers. All cowboys drink coffee. Now the second premise is going to go on top of the first premise. And the second premise is Marlin is a cowboy. Now that does not have a quantifier. So since it doesn't have a quantifier, I could use a symbol like we have earlier. We use P, Q, R. I can use a symbol to represent this, except I'm just going to use the letter M for Marlin. And that's going to go right in here because Marlin is a cowboy. So Marlin's got to go in the cowboys. And as you can see, if I take away the cowboys, you can see that Marlin is also in the coffee drinkers. So therefore, Marlin drinks coffee. That confirms that this is the only way, this is the only graphic, this is the only series of Euler circles that we can draw that will express this argument. And of course, it confirms the two premises, confirms the conclusion here, as you can see it. Therefore, Marlin drinks coffee. Yeah, there it is. So this is a valid argument.